32 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Sorry, people, manual timestamp. Various reports. Reiss Nelson. Arsenal are open to offers for Reiss Nelson after he struggled to break in to the senior setup on a regular basis. He failed to get a loan in January. You know, he hasn't played that much football. A mixture of Pepe finding form, Martinelli doing well, Saka being on job, Aubameyang playing out wide, and obviously on top of all of that, they're all justified, you know. And then you've got an unhealthy obsession Arteta has with Willian, and Willian's going to be here for the next 3 years on paper, 2 years including this year. So in theory, you know, the 21-year-old, he's not going to play much. He's played 2 times in the league. For me personally, people, I don't want Nelson to go. You know, I don't know if he's going to become a player of tomorrow. I don't know, but I don't want Nelson to go. Obviously a lot of it is Hay Lens, but there's no shame in him being lost. You know, like I've always said, some men are not going to go off and be regulars. You know, some people are not going to hit potential. You know, some man, it's just not going to happen, which is cool. You know, our academy costs a couple million to run. If you can get a couple of million, to put it nicely, for Nelson and other players, they've done their job. And Nelson can leave with his head held high. He's been part of winning the Community Shield. He's played for Arsenal a couple of times. He's progressed through the academy. Of course, it's not quite what we heard, you know, the best talent since Wilshere. And you're seeing Saka and Smith Rowe, who were both spoken like that, doing their thing. For Nelson at 21, it's a shame, you know. And I don't think you should write off a man at 21. Not forget playing for Arsenal, just his whole career. You know, and this is where it is for me with Reiss Nelson as well, people, because again, if I scroll up a bit, you know me, I love a Google document sheet, people. Please ignore the Jamal Musiala. That's for a next video I'm going to do, which isn't going to be live. I should show you, look, the thumbnail. My thumbnails are improving bit by bit. But my points on Nelson would be this. Like I said, ultimately, you've got to do the job in it. He's not doing the jobs. He's not playing, you know, from a sporting point of view. I don't really like the whole training comments and things because you're playing Willian. Willian's amazing in training, but not there. Arteta, I thought Arteta was going to be the guy for Nelson, and Nelson's got some ability. Clearly, you know, he started a game against Liverpool last season, and he played against, was it Chelsea? One of Arteta's first games at home. So I just don't think he's kicked on for whatever reason. I don't think Arteta, there must be something in Arteta's eyes. He's not showing something in training. It's either he's not kicked on or he's not rated, but the minutes don't lie, people. You know, like I said, minutes, starts, the pecking order's not kind. All of these point towards leaving. And for Arsenal, I don't mind it. You know, if you can get a decent fee for him and a sell-on clause, it's cool. Because like I said, 21, he's seen as not being able to make it at Arsenal. Your time's gone. He needs game time, you know, fundamentally, people. But at the same time, you know, he might not be levels now. But what if he's a good player a year from now when he gets game time? What if he's an England international at 23? What if he's more of a household name? Regardless of what you think, because I don't think you're wrong if you think Nelson is at levels. I don't think you're wrong if you think he is. My point is, I care about Arsenal being right on both sides. It's like the stock market. You know, many people will tell you it's going up, it's going down. You can't predict that. It's illogical like life. But what you can do is benefit from both sides. If he is going to develop, cool, we've got a first team player, let's not sell him. If you don't think he is, then cool, sell him. Put that little sell-on clause, you know, put that little sell-on clause to nice you. Make sure you get decent amount of money. That's actually why, you know, I know he's got about 2 years left on his deal. That's probably why I probably would loan him out. Because again, you don't know what a loan could do for him. You know, I don't think Smith Rowe set the world alight at Huddersfield. He had a great loan, but it weren't world beater stuff. How much of a platform did that set him? You know, a year later. Remember his first couple starts for Arsenal? He didn't take his chance, people. So again, for me, it's just a caring about if this player turns out to be something. And it does feel like Nelson has struggled, you know, but it does feel like there's something there. Like you can see here, people, football is a funny old game. And again, not to overstate them, but you look at Teller, who it was, you know, he couldn't get a game really in our reserves. He's now started for Southampton. You look at Josh Martin, couldn't play for under 18s, kind of getting opportunities in the first team at Norwich. So again, Nelson might not be rated here. He might go somewhere else and do something. You know, out of Nelson, Maitland and Joe Willock, I think Nelson's the sort of one I really want to be on the right side of things, people. I think Nelson can help us. Fundamentally, I'd rather Reiss Nelson than Willian. I'd rather give him chances. And I feel with Nelson, it's about staying fit. It's about making sure you got the confidence. It's about the consistency, because he was starting to turn a corner when the Rapid Vienna times in December, and it didn't happen for him. But same time, I don't think he's developed enough. And I'm talking about his decision making. I don't think he's grabbed his opportunities. Maybe he's been comfortable here. So again, if Arsenal are going to sell him, make sure you got a good sell-on clause and you get a respectable sum, because football's a funny game. You might be looking at Arsenal dodgy now. He might not be, but he might become a player at 23. You know, you don't become a bad player overnight. For Nelson, I think you and your agents need to find a club because you've wasted this season. Yeah, you've played little bits and pieces, but you're playing 23s. You know, the last two games, you're playing against Man City's 23s while the other boys are playing the real thing. So we'll have to see. But as you lot can see, we're open to offers for Nelson after he struggled to break in. And, you know, there was a circus a few years ago about retaining him. And I still think he's developing. I told you a lot from Hoffenheim days, you know, a lot of people were looking at his goals and 30-second clips and saying he's amazing. Sometimes he didn't score and played better. Sometimes he scored and shortly after that played poorly. I can remember his vivid loan spell there, people. You know, as you lot can see here, you know, Arteta makes Reiss Nelson decision. And again, you know, I'm on selling Nelson. If you could sell him for a respectable sum, you sell on clause, he makes money for the team that can be reinvested. I'm for that. That's what our academy has to do. First and foremost, progress players for the first team. Second of all, obviously, you know, if it can't happen, let's go and make money. So if you can get something for Reiss Nelson, Maitland-Niles, maybe Joe Willock, why not? And it can be reinvested. You've got Miguel Aziz coming through. It is what it is, isn't it? You can bring in other players. It is what it is, people. I'd rather give Nelson the game time Willian has, and I do think I'm not really seeing much with the young players with Arteta. I know he's playing Saka a hell of a lot. I know Smith Rowe's been there, but I ain't really seen him put a hat on one of these young players. You know, Saka's there by default. You know, you can't, not that I'm using it against Arteta, but he was here. It was, you know, it's one of them. It's like a Greenwood or a Foden or a Curtis Jones, and then you can't ignore them sort of thing. He's got 2 years left on his deal. So much like Guendouzi and these sort of players, a decision has to be made, and we're probably open to selling Donny. And like I said, if you loan him out, even if you don't want him, but if you loan him out and he starts playing well in the Premier League or somewhere else, teams might say, yo, this guy's a baller. Talking about next season, let's go for him now. Let's give him he's got a year left. He showed what he's on. Let's bring him. Let's buy him. That could go from Arsenal, maybe, I don't know, getting 5 million now to getting 10 or any other example. Apparently, Arsenal will reportedly listen to offers for Reiss Nelson this summer as Mikel Arteta looks to whittle down his squad. Bro, I'm going to be quite livid. I know you can't get rid of William, but Williams who you need to cut, and again it's playing favourites. He spent the majority of the campaign on the fringe. He's only played twice in the Premier League. Both of those came from the bench. He lost his place in the matchday squad under Arteta, as you lot know. Moving away from that, according to CBS, Arteta is continuing to leave out Nelson in favour of Saka, Willian and Pepe. You know, out of them, it's only you that I can't get it because you're just shit. As you lot can see, he's contracted for 2023. And for me, with Nelson, you've promised yourself you're going to stay and fight, you know. And if it ain't going to happen, you've got to keep it moving at the end of the season, really and truly, man. Like you can see here, we had a few plans in mind with Reiss. One of them was to send him out on loan to get more minutes because of the competition we have up front. To be fair, he was told in August go out on loan, but he wanted to stay and fight. Like Joe Willock, like Maitland, they've kept it moving. And I think you've wasted a season now, Nelson, man. You need to go somewhere consistently on a permanent basis where you're going to play people and whatnot. So these are all the reports. As you lot can see here, you know, they're prepared to let him go. He's only 21. He's only made 9 appearances this season, 2 in the Premier League, played only 69 minutes. Again, like I said, the minutes and the starts, they don't lie, people. They don't lie. Moving away from that, in fact, not moving away from that because I have to make that timestamp. We've obviously got, let me put this here. I want to stop writing on this paper because I'm actually trying to use that. But yeah, we've got Miguel Aziz talk, people. Big up everybody locked in. Close to 400 of you. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. I'm aware that I haven't spelled Miguel right, but I just want to talk this thing with you guys. Let's close that because it's the same thing. As you lot can see here, people, Arsenal in talks with whiz kid Miguel Aziz, 18, over a new long-term deal. Now, he's 18 years of age. You know, at 17, you can't sign a 5-year deal. You can sign a 3 max. So at 18, this is probably, you know, on top of giving him his first pro deal, this is the sort of long-term one, like you see here, to tie him down. If you can get him, you know, Arsenal are a bit funny with this. They tend to give you 3 years with an option of another, or do 2 with an option of another. Tie the man down for 5 years, innit? In that time, if he keeps developing, he will get a new deal and stuff. But I think he's one of these players that have a future. I do think people overrate Miguel Aziz to a degree, in a sense of nothing to do with him or his ability. People move like he's the Messiah. He's a young man that's going to learn a lot. Like defensively is a glaring area. If he's thrown into the first team, he's going to struggle with. I think he can be a bit naive in that. I do think he can try force a pass, but these are all things you'd see in an 18-year-old. I do think he's got great vision. He's got great manipulation of the ball. He is an Arsenal player. and the stars are aligning. Spots are starting to open up. He's only 18, but I would expect him to get more appearances next year. I think he's of that level now where he's got to be thrown into environments where he's not going to thrive in a nice way, because like you see it with the 23s, he actually hasn't, I wouldn't say played amazing week in, week out, like I have seen with previous ones, like actually Joe Willock, Saka, Reiss Nelson, actually, Smith Rowe, Wobie when he got his look in, Maitland, I can remember vividly standout seasons. Miguel is yet to have that, not that it matters, but my point is he's got a lot of developing to do, and I'm happy to see this. And as you lot see, his current deal expires at the end of the season, which again, isn't a good look for Arsenal to have Miguel Aziz, Balogun, Kiddo, Taylor Hart, who's behind them right now, running out. And, you look at Miguel Aziz. Remember when we had Yunus Musa? These were our brightest players. Remember, these men were like schoolboys playing 18s initially. So it's not a good look. And it tells me that you're being reactive, because let's just say Miguel says, F it. There's a German team that wants Donny. I'm off. We're in problems. So hopefully we find a resolution, because you can't lose Miguel Aziz after losing Musa for me, So we'll have to see what happens, people. But hopefully it's a good look. We can tie him down next season. When he's 19, I expect him to feature a bit more. Still think there's a lot of development he needs to do, but he's a good player. He made his Europa League debut. He played in the preseason. With Miguel Aziz, Charlie Patino, Amari Hutchinson. Specific centre mids, Ben Cottrell. These sort of players. They should be players that can progress to Arsenal's first team or be sold for a handsome profit, in my opinion. So hopefully we get this one done, people, but we'll have to see, man. Big up Miguel Aziz regardless. He's a baller, man. Absolute baller. And yeah, man, I wonder who he'll play for, because I think he's of Nigerian, Spanish and English descent. I think it will be England, but you get the point, people. So yeah, man, that's the news in relation to the young one. So let's get rid of that.